Soccer Fanatics, fresh from match day 2 of the Betway Premiership. We are back with episode 2 of All Things Football Unpacked. Good afternoon, welcome to it. I'm your host, number one host, your resident host rather, Apiwe, where we talk all things football while we unpacking the game, the happenings on and off the pitch, while getting you ready for the week that lies ahead and give you the results and the results that took place from the previous fixtures while we get you ready for the upcoming fixtures and give you a brief expectation of what you can expect as far as the games are concerned. Plenty to talk about. The CONCACAF Confed Cup was conducted last week. I'll bring you that as the show commences. Remember to hit that like button on YouTube. On the football, all things football Unpacked. The support is much appreciated. 67 views, the highest we've had since the show aired and since the first show in 2023. We do not take that for granted. Support is much appreciated. We've also hit the 500 mark and on Facebook, the Facebook page, all things football Unpacked. Currently underway, the English Premier League has kicked off today, match day 1, with Aston Villa taking on Newcastle. Starting 11 includes Bizot, Cash, Konsa, Town Mings, Dina, Camara, Yuri Telemans, McGinn, Onana, Rogers, and Watkins, while Newcastle will start with Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Shaw, Sean Jolinton, Tonali, Aaron Gordon, Barnes, Anthony, new signing, Anthony Elenga, Livramento, Byrne, and of course Bruno Guimaraes, who will be wearing the captain's armband. We're also gonna continue to follow the Chan tournament closely. Bafana and Niger played to a goalless draw last night and in a CAF African Nations Championship. Now, the African Nations Championship is a tournament, dedicated African tournament, which features African countries and which only allows locally based players, no overseas players or whatsoever. Without further ado, let's get to news making headlines in the world of football. Speaking of which, Cape Town's Kaizer Chiefs have been cleared to sign winger Arsenal Vele from Cape Town Spurs during the off-season. The winger was caught in a tussle with the Urban Warriors regarding his contract, which for his release, which forced Cape Town the Premier Soccer League dispute resolution chamber to intervene. Despite the representative citing that the starlet was not bound by a professional contract following Cape Town Spurs relegation from the Motsepe Foundation Championship. Now, in case you were not here last week or did not see last week's episode, we must educate you. This show is also about educating the next viewer. News. As much as we give you information, we are also about giving you education. We're also about giving you knowledge, education, while we inform you in the process. So Spurs suffered back-to-back demotions from Top Flight Football, the DStv Premiership, before going down from the Motsepe Foundation Championship, and now cut their teeth, apply their trade in the Motsepe Foundation, in the ABC Motsepe League, meaning it's now an amateur club. The players are now free agents. Players namely Leon Byrne, Asanele Velebai, and of course Luke Bartman, who was supposed to make his way to Amazulu. However, Spurs argued that despite the decision made by the dispute resolution chamber, Leon Byrne, and Asanele Velebai was supposed to return to training as they are contract bound until 2026. Now, the dispute resolution chamber found that the legal team made a compelling case within the NSL handbook that the contract Spurs were relying on was no longer of professional status. Therefore, it is null and void, and the players are now free agents, meaning they are free to join players of the teams of their choosing. On to our other story making headlines. Now, this is a rather sensitive one. If you're a sensitive viewer, you might want to turn away for a while. With Ashraf Hakimi is said to be on the has addressed the matter regarding some rape allegations after a 24-year-old woman accused him of rape in after he 24-year-old woman was accused him of rape. The incident is said to have taken place in February 2023 after Hakimi report was said to have invited the woman to his mansion while his then wife was away. In March that same year, Hakimi was also charged with rape as the woman alleges that the Moroccan and PSG right back proceeded to assault her without any consent despite her attempts to reject his advances. His French now French prosecutors are calling for a trial where Hakimi could receive being on the receiving end of a maximum 15 years sentence for non-aggravated rape, provided he is found guilty. Speaking to French channel Canal Plus, he broke his silence, stating that it is now up to the investigating magistrate court within the framework of his order. The prosecutor's office told FAP last night, while Hakimi spoke to Canal Plus, strongly denying the accusations, stating them that I'm calm. The false accusation was horrible and fair. He goes on to say, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. It is not right. I know the truth will come out. I do not blame myself for anything. Those who know me know that I am calm and focusing on more important things in my life: football and family and football. Close quote. On to our next story. Cape Town Spurs have put out a statement regarding the decision made by the the PSL dispute resolution chamber, in what the president called cruel and selfish decision made by Kaiser Chiefs. Now, in the statement reads, the statement if we look for the statement, and a decision that has sent shockwaves through the South African football community. National Soccer League, also known as NSL Dispute Resolution Chamber, has declared Cape Town Spurs Asanele Velebai a free agent following the club's relegation. The statement read, while on the surface it appears to be a victory for player freedom, the ruling is illegal and a logical catastrophe, one built on contradictory reason and a willful ignorance of contractual law. More alarmingly, it has fired a fatal shot into the heart of football development, threatening to make long-term investment in young talent and unsustainable and ultimately pointless endeavors. Premise of the case was simple: Spurs were relegated, and players like Sanele Velebai, Luke Bartman, of all of which came to the Spurs academy over a combined period of 30 years, argued this fundamentally changed their employment, entitling them to walk away from their contracts. Spurs, a club with a 3-decade legacy of nurturing talent. We recall this when with Cape Town Spurs merging with Seven Stars to form the club Ice Cape Town in the year 1999, where they specialized more in development and has been going on for the past 30 years. Uh, Spurs, it goes on to say, Spurs with a club with a 3-decade legacy of nurturing talent, stood firm on the legal principle of a pacta sunt servanda. A contract is a contract. The club sent letters to the players insisting that their contracts are valid and binding. According to the figures verified by the clubs, the input cost for a single player who has been in the academy for 10 years is a minimum 8 million rand. The staggering sum covers coaching, facilities, travel, education, and of course welfare, while the training compensation fees a club might receive when an academy player signs their first professional contract covers less than 5% of this monumental investment. Now, if you remember clearly, Kaiser Chiefs approached Cape Town Spurs for the services of Asanele Velebai for a sum of 4 million rand, with an additional two, with also a 4 million rand, accompanied by the signing of two players. That coming with add-ons, an add-on of two players, which was rejected by the CEO of Cape Town Spurs, Alexi Estevao, who went on to say, "We should never accuse someone of with no evidence. It would be irresponsible and unprofessional. We know what the player is valued at. He has a contract with our club, and that needs to be respected." He went as, "We were certain after consulting with the legal team the possibility of arbitration and appeal. In the meantime, that will depend on the Bobman case and also yet to be heard, the case of Liam Byrne." On to our other story. Kind of speaking or still talking Kaiser, all things Kaiser Chiefs. Coach Asta Kaiser Chiefs assistant, first assistant coach in Khalil Ben Youssef has explained the reasoning behind the signing, that some of the club's new signings were not part of the game between Kaiser Chiefs and Stellenbosch at a sold-out Athlone Stadium. Players namely Flavio Silva, Ethan Chislett, and Nkanyiso Shinga, just to mention a few. We noticed were not part of the team. Reason being was not explained at the time. However, the coach said, when the new players come back to join us, it will be better. They will give us more solution. They are still waiting for the work permits. Reason being that the players were all playing outside the country when they were signed for the club. So for us, we prepare all the team, all of us, all of them, and they can start the game. We prepare for all situations. Other signings include Pasagamago from Orlando Pirates combination of Pasagamago and Tabiso Munyane. Not forgetting Supersport United's very own Spesislin Ndlovu, who joined after the team was dissolved and had its status sold to Siwelele, now the now known Siwelele FC. On to now, Kaiser Chiefs have been without Nasreddin Nabi, have been without are currently without Nasruddin Nabi, who's gone to attend to his wife who was involved in a car accident back in Morocco. However, they did state that he is involved in the decision making. He makes the final decision. Furthermore, they do trust his opinion. He trusts the opinion of both the assistant coaches in Cedric Gassi and Ben Youssef. The assistant coach also stated that they stopped celebrating the win and focused quickly on the game against Polokwane City, which they won by an odd goal. The most difficult thing for us is always thinking about the second game. As he stated, we have to be prepared for different playing plans from A, B, C, and D, and a lot of plans, because they get injured. They can get injured in the last training session as he went to end. Cape Town Spurs have officially launched. Speaking of which, Naledi Dlongwane has also made his debut in the game against Stellenbosch FC. However, he was substituted. Still talking Cape Town Spurs and Kaiser Chiefs related matters. Cape Town Spurs have lodged an official complaint with appeal with the South African Football Association, this time with the over the ruling of the National Soccer League Dispute Resolution Chamber. This appeal comes after the DRC declared SNL Velebai the a free agent on not in a decision that was dated last week Saturday on the 9th of August. Keaton Spurs maintains its position regarding the validity of the player. Yes, the validity of the player's contract, and has initiated the appeal process under the NSL regulations, crucially invoking clause 224.4 of the NSL handbook. The club confirms that the DRC's order is suspended pending the outcome of the appeal, while clause 24.4 states an appeal against an order of the disciplinary committee will not suspend the organization of that order pending the finalization of any appeal or arbitration in respect of that order. An appeal against An appeal with a further against an order of the dispute resolution chamber will suspend the organization of the final pending on the finalization of any appeal or arbitration, meaning he remains contracted to Cape Town Spurs. However, we saw in the picture, if we saw on the Kaiser Chiefs social, that so Cape Town Spurs Kaiser Chiefs have acquired the signature of the young winger. He will be donning the jersey number 17. The appeal process will now will proceed through SAFA's internal dispute resolution mechanisms. Should the matter not be resolved at this level, SAFA Constitution, then it will go as far as the Court Arbitration of Sport in Lausanne, Switzerland. Clause 24.4 ensures the suspension of the DRC order continues throughout any subsequent case proceedings. Moving on, we onto our other story. Israeli Premier League side have announced the acquisition of forward of attacking Pirates or attacking midfielder rather in Karim Kimvoidi on a long-term loan deal. The 23-year-old was made his debut in Israel over the weekend, featuring in a Toto Cup League encounter for FC Ashdod rather. I hope I'm not botching the surname. Officially, and when they officially announced the club, that boys, despite now we have not seen the 23-year-old for some time. He has struggled for some game time and dipping in form, considering that he's currently competing with the likes of Patrick Tito Masanganye and Remo Fuking, who can also play the attacking midfield position. Currently underway, Aston Villa and Newcastle. It's still a goalless stalemate at Villa Park in Birmingham. Initially, there was uncertainty around the nature of his move. However, it's been confirmed as a loan. A state that reads, after getting a glimpse of his ability in the last game, the Congolese midfielder has signed with the club until the end of the season on loan with an option to buy for an additional 3 years, most likely on a permanent basis. The 23-year-old attacking midfielder who can also play as an 8 comes to us from Orlando Pirates, with whom he won two trophies in the last 2 years in the South African Premier Soccer League. The 23-year-old joined Pirates in July 2023 from Maritzburg, the now defunct Maritzburg United, becoming a surplus to requirement following the appointment of Deslam Owadu, who replaced Jose Ribeiro at the helm. Moving on, we talk stadium talk with the FNB Stadium Management South Africa CEO. Management South Africa's Bertie Grobler held an address for members of the South African Football Journalists Association, who were invited for a walkabout on the new FNB Stadium, which was relayed ahead of the 2025-26 season. Out of the Betway Premiership encounter between Kaiser Chiefs and Polokwane City, which Kaiser Chiefs won by that odd goal. He stated that it deserves no explanation, but at the end of last season, we also saw that the pitch was not up to normal standards, and with our pitch maintenance company, Sport Turf, we then get international experts on the hybrid pitch model to come and advise us. He says the plan all along was to replace the pitch at the end of the 2026 season, but the recommendation was that the previous pitch would not last another season. So we sat down with the city of Johannesburg and we discussed the commercials and then instructed the company to proceed with the refurbishment of the pitch. So they took out the old pitch, started with the silicon sand and new sand to take out all the old stuff, and started reseeding. When 2 weeks ago the Grassmaster stitching machine arrived and they did the artificial fiber stitching. Normally it takes 4 months for a process like this to be completed, but we have this company 10 weeks. We have this company 10 weeks. They started on 28 May. There's still a bit of work to be done. That was before Wednesday's match, but I'm happy with what they did in the 10-week period. The process that usually takes 4 months was reduced to 10 weeks. Hropla states expectations that are the pitch will be in optimal condition by next month, September. According to him, he goes on to say, on my assessment, whether depending on advice from the experts, by the beginning of September, it will be up to scratch. Revealed in February that they had budgeted 17 million rand to refurbish the FNB and Orlando stadium pitches, which are both maintained by Stadium Management South Africa. The Nasrec venue should be now fit for at least the next decade. It's truly an expensive exercise. Uh, this has breathed life into the hopefully this has breathed life into the pitch for another 10 to 12 years. It's if properly maintained before you place the DSO fibers, he concluded, close quote. Now if you remember, if you pay attention to the events outside football, the FNB Stadium is also used for the big music events and your extreme sports that take place. Hence, Kaiser Chiefs resort to moving to their some of their home games to the Peter Mkaba Stadium or the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Furthermore, they've also played some of their matches and Bombela home games at the Bombela Stadium and the Cape Town State. Not forgetting the Cape Town Stadium, which they used for 3 games in the 2015-2016 season. On to our other news. Former PSG. Before we talk PSG, we speak of former Sundowns player Matthias Escoval has announced his move to Greek club, or should I say, Kefesia FC, a club competing in the Greek Super League, announced the signing of Matthias Escoval from Mamelodi Sundowns in a one-year deal, becoming only the second former Sundowns player to move to the division following former Sundowns attacking midfielder who joined Sundowns from Stellenbosch, who now plays his football for Asteras Tripolis in the Greek Super League. In an Instagram out post, they wrote, "Give Gefesia FC have announces the start of a partnership with Matthias Eduardo Esteval, who plays as an attacking midfielder. We signed a one-year contract with the side. Welcome him to the club's family and wishes him health, luck, and every form of success." On to our other news. Moving on to our other news. Kaiser French forward, or should I say former AC Milan? Should I say former AC Milan in PSG shortstopper and Gianluigi Donnarumma has penned down a heartfelt letter to his club, or to his club for his supporters rather, and the PSG family following his departure from the Parisians. This comes after he was omitted by coach Luis Enrique and the UEFA Super Cup against the Tottenham Hotspur in a come from behind 2-2 draw, which led to penalties where they emerged victorious by 4 goals to 3. To this, in a letter that reads, to the special Paris fans, from the first day I arrived, I gave everything on and off the pitch to earn my place and defend the goal of Paris Saint-Germain. Unfortunately, someone had decided I can no longer be part of the group and contribute to the team's success. I am disappointed and disheartened. I hope to have the opportunity to look at the fans. I hope to have the opportunity to look at the fans at the Parc des Princes in the eye one more time and say goodbye, and as it should be done. If that doesn't happen, I want you to know that your support and affection mean the world to me, and I will never forget it. I always carry with me the memory of all the emotions, the magical nights, all of you who made me feel at home. To my teammates, my second family, thank you for every battle, every laugh, every moment shared. We will always be brothers. Play, Playing for this club has been, and living in the city has been, an immense honor. Thank you, Paris. This was a statement that was written on social media by the shortstopper who joined the side in 2021 from AC Milan following his exploits with Italy, and the Euro 20 brilliance in the 2020 Euro 2020, where he was awarded for Italy, where he was also awarded player of the tournament, becoming one of the first goalkeepers to win player of the tournament. Moving on, we Mamelodi Sundowns and with Moroccan side, Wydad Casablanca have agreed. The last story that is have agreed on this to the services of Tembin Nkosi Lodge, with the Moroccan side securing the services of the 32-year-old. The move comes after an impressive run by the 32-year-old at the FIFA Club World Cup, where he got himself on the score sheet. Initially, he had joined the side on a short-term loan. However, the Red Castle opted for a buyout clause to get the Bafana International on a permanent basis, despite the departure of the then coach Rani Mukwena, who recruited the attacker during his time to get him some game time. Onto our Here's what onto our fix onto the Battery Premiership results from match day one rather. We saw Chippa United and Mamelodi Sundowns play to a 1-1 draw after Atasele's goal was cancelled by Kayam Fetane, while Polokwane City and Magesi could were finished goalless, the only game to finish in a goalless stalemate. Polokwane Derby, Amazulu proved too strong for newcomers Orbit College, winning by that odd goal, while the Richards Bay fell short at home to Maruma Gallants, losing by 2-1. Skugune United proved too strong for Orlando Pirates, winning by an odd goal at the Orlando Stadium. For the second successive time at the Orlando Stadium, they emerged victorious, while Siwelele's Siviwe Makiti and of course Vincent Pule were put on a magnificent display, with Siviwe Makiti netting a brace, while the third one was added on by Vincent Pule in a 3-1 win over Golden Arrows at a sold out Dr. Petrus Malamela Stadium. Durban City proved too strong on Sunday for TS Galaxy, winning by 2-0. So did Kaiser Chiefs, with a goal from Smusis from Ngosing Pile Ngabo and Claudile Lepa from the penalty spot. FA Community Shield on Sunday saw a 2-2 withdraw, for which led to penalties, where Crystal Palace emerged 3-2 victors rather. 3-2 victors, while Battery Premiership. Let's looking at the midweek fixtures that took place in the Battery Premiership. Murmur Gallants came from a goal down to win by 2-0, while Mamelodi Sundowns were too strong for Amazulu, winning by 2-0. Orbit College tasted victory for the first time over fellow newcomers Siwelele FC by an odd goal. Durban City emerged victorious at the Chatsworth Stadium, winning by an odd goal. While Kaiser Chiefs also won by an odd goal with a late goal from Percy Hlenklovu. Magesi FC and Stellenbosch could not be separated with a 1-0 draw, while Golden Arrows emerged victorious in a KZN derby, winning by their odd goal. Another odd goal win was the game between Skukune United and TS Galaxy. TS Galaxy and Skukune United. That game was won by TS Galaxy through a goal by Bradley Grobler, who was also netted a brace against the same opponent in the game against the same opponent in the MTN 8 quarterfinal. Speaking of which, we're going to get the MTN 8, which is going to kick off in less than 45 minutes. I have should be the starting 11 so far. I have the Mamelodi Sundowns starting 11. While before going further with the results, we are currently going to start what players that are going to start the fixture are Ronwin Williams, Grant Kikana, Kiana Chibido, Zogom Tunyelwa, Aubrey Mutiba, Teboho Mukwena, Marcelo Allende, Temba Zwane, Ada Sellers, Ekran Reyners, and of course, Tashrik Matthews. On the bench, Dennis Onyango, Musa Lebusa, Divine Lunga, Jaden Adams, Motuba Tusi Opas, Pelelem Kulise, Kutlano Letlaku, Siyabonga Mabena, and of course the marksman Peter Shalulile. While we're still looking for the Orlando Pirates fixture, Orlando Pirates starting 11, which is yet to be loaded. By the way, it's a sold out affair. So if you did not get a ticket, please do not make things hard for yourself. Otherwise, law enforcement will have to deal with you accordingly. You can go and watch the game. You can watch the game on your channel of choosing. You can go online. The game is also there on YouTube Live. You can go to a sports bar, go to your friend's house, or you can watch from home. Get some snacks and watch from home. On to our other thing, going still with your results. PSG and came from 2 goals down to beat 2 goals down after trailing 2-0 from against Tottenham Hotspur in a UEFA Super Cup that took place in Udine in Italy, to win by 4 goals to 3. Premier League fixtures. Premier League kicked off last night with the defending champions Liverpool winning by 4 goals to 2 with 4 goals to 2. Here's what you by 4 goals to 2 with goals from Federico Chiesa, who netted a goal on debut alongside Hugo Ekitike, who also found himself on the score sheet. Not forgetting Cody Gakpo, and of course the regular goal poacher in Mohamed Salah, who has by far netted 150 goals for Liverpool. Here's what you can expect. MTN fixtures, first leg fixtures, kick off in the next 45 minutes. Orlando Pirates take on Mamelodi Sundowns at a sold-out Orlando Stadium. Isco Discamamenzela, while Stellenbosch and Sekhukhune United face off tomorrow at the Danny Craven Stadium. Both fixtures kick off at 1500 hours. Currently half-time at Villa Park between Newcastle and Aston Villa and Newcastle. The score is currently goalless. Afterwards, which will be followed by Brighton and Fulham, while new Premier League returnees Sunderland will take on West Ham United. Tottenham welcome Burnley. Wolves welcome Manchester, and we close off with the Wolves welcoming Manchester City. Tomorrow we see a triple header with Chelsea welcoming Crystal Palace in what should be a London derby, while Nottingham Forest take on Brentford. Manchester United will renew their rivalry with Arsenal. We close off the weekend Premier League weekend with Leeds United returnees, Premier League returnees rather, and Leeds United taking on Everton. While Friday we'll see match day 2 rather, kick off with West Ham United and Chelsea in another London derby. Betway Premiership fixtures midweek will see Kaizer Chiefs welcome Richards Bay at the FNB Stadium. Orbit College take on Sekhukhune United, while Golden Arrows travel to Durban City in another KZN derby. Chippa United take on TS Galaxy. Siwelele FC face off against Polokwane City in what is most likely to be the sold out Petrus Milamela Stadium. You can't help but be excited for Siwelele FC and the people of Bloemfontein. You can tell they've been longing for the football, judging by the attendance, which was magnificent. Therefore, we'd like to say thank you for the attendance. It is not unnoticed. Remember the competition by Betway, Monise, and win. Whoever dresses the best, puts on the best football attire on the day, will be taken notice of and will win 10,000 Rand. If you have a Betway account, the amount will be doubled to 20,000 Rand. So we later face off against Polokwane City. We have a triple header on Wednesday with Orlando Pirates facing Stellenbosch, while Magesi will take on Mamelodi Sundowns, which should be an interesting encounter considering Magesi are yet to lose a game at Seshego Stadium. We finish off with Amazulu taking on Marumo Gallants at the King Zwelithini Stadium. All fixtures on Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday will kick off simultaneously at 19:30, and that's all we have time for on All Things Football. The show will be uploaded on YouTube as soon as it's done. Thanking you in advance for watching. The support is appreciated. Remember, please hit the like button on YouTube and comment on what you would like to see and what you think of my presentation skills. That is, it is much appreciated. You can tell me what I need to work on. All constructive criticism is welcome. While edit All Things Football, coming to you from my mother's dining table. I'd like to thank who's the majority shareholder of All Things Football, Football Impact. I would like to wish her a happy birthday. This is all. This has been All Things Football, Football Unpacked. We return next week for episode 3, fresh from match day 3, from both the Betway Premiership and All Things Football, which will after the Betway Premiership, we'll have the third episode of All Things Football, Football Unpacked for the season 5. By the way, this is a fourth episode broadcast since considering the show was first aired on the 14th of August 2021. For myself, Apiwe, it has been lovely. The support is not unnoticed. The show is also available on TikTok. Hit that like button, comment on what you'd like to see, the subscribe button. While at it, your support is not unnoticed on the Facebook page. We keep moving. Enjoy the show and enjoy the football. Let's give it a name and call it a day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.